Welcome back. My name is Godwin, of course. So we shall be continuing with, from where we stopped the other time. In the last class, we spoke about a few things, Nash equilibrium, prisoners dilemma, stuff like that. So we ended where two people, Ashake and don't see. So where they were hauling, where they were deciding whether to haul a kind of waste or either to burn, the waste. And that's that about that. So in this particular class, we are going to continue from there. So here we see it's still the same example, right? But here we want to look at another way by which we can arrive at Nash equilibrium. So, like I said, it's the same example. Consider the burn on hull example again. But now suppose that Ashake values the cost from the damage of one fire as equal to 15,000 and that of two fires as equal to 40,000. All other costs are the same. So here, what it is saying is that, here, if Ashake burns and Dunse burns, so if Ashake is the only one burning, so the cost he incurs is 15, then plus the labor cost, that gives us, 16, totally. But, personal cost is just 15, you get. So now, when the two of them began to burn, you understand? So that's like two fires now at the same time simultaneously. Ashake's cost rose to 31, which was the same as which was the same for Dunse. So here, instead of 31, the question is saying that the cost of two fires now is going to be 40,000. So the cost of two fires for Ashake instead of 15 plus 15 is now something like maybe 15 plus, let's say, 25. So this does not really break it down, but let's just like 15 plus 25, right? So which is 40,000. And you still have the labor cost of 1,000, right? So the total cost when two fires are being burnt at the same time is still uh, 31 for Dunsin, according to this example, right? But now it is 41, 41 for Ashake. So you can see all other costs are the same. All other costs are the same. So if all other costs are the same, so we still have the same, matrix, the same PO matrix. The only difference being that for bond and bond for Ashake is now 41 instead of 31, based on the information in this example. So we are still also to look for the dominant strategy and the Nash equilibrium, and then is the solution Pareto efficient? Is the solution Pareto efficient? So in some other books, or according to some other authors, you might have this pair of matrix represented in negative signs, and the negative signs depicting costs. You understand? So they might depict benefits, they might depict positive things like maybe profits and stuff like that in uh, positive, in a positive manner. So let's say like what we've done here, and they might represent costs, in negative value. So instead of having 41, you have minus 41, minus 31, minus 35, minus 16, and so on and so forth. So it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal. Still the same. We are still going to arrive at the same Nash equilibrium. You understand? Anyways, it's not even as if you know the style that your lecturer is going to use in his marking guide. When he or she gives you a question like this, but just do you, right? And that's what I'm going to tell you. Just do you and ensure that you follow the right steps, the right procedures, and arrive at the correct answer. So, what is the dominant strategy for dosing? So for dosing, okay, now there is a way. It's not a must that I write it out like I was doing the other time. So because we know that these two are the payoffs for dosing if it's burning, and these two are the payoffs for dosing if it's hauling, right? These two are the payoffs for dosing if it's burning. So for dosing you have burn this way and haul this way. So what we are comparing is 31 against 35. So we pick 31 because it's a lower cost, and then we compare 16 against 20. We pick 16 because it's a lower cost. So here, burning is entirely better. The payoff for burn is entirely better for the payoff for hauling. So which means that Dosi has a dominant strategy, which is to burn. Alright. So Dosi's dominant DS is to burn. So you might still write it out the way we did in the last class, but You don't necessarily have to do that. You can just look at it. Now for Ashake, this is born for Ashake. It's horizontal comparison. So you have this against this. So this is bond, the entire bond strategy against the entire Holly strategy. So 35, paying 35,000 instead of 41,000 is better, right? So it's going to choose all in here. And when you come to this place, paying 16,000 is better than paying 20,000. It's going to choose burning in this place. So you will see that for burning, he chose only one of it. I didn't choose this guy. For hauling, he also chose only one of it. I didn't choose this guy. So like neither of the strategies is entirely better than the other one. So in that case, we say that Ashake does not have a dominant strategy. Ashake does not have a dominant strategy. Now, since Ashake doesn't have a dominant strategy, so is this game going to have a Nash equilibrium? Somebody has a dominant strategy, the other person doesn't. Now, the thing is, since Dulce has a dominant strategy, right? So Dulce has something that is always going to do, so which is for him to burn. You understand? So after Dulce has chosen to burn, so what is Ashake now going to do? So what it means is that for us to get an Nash equilibrium, Dulce has already chosen to burn, right? Has already chosen to burn, so which is either 31 or 16. Now, what will Ashake do? If Dulce has chosen to burn, so it's like Dulce is not going to choose all, right? Because the dominant strategy is not all. All is dominated strategy. So the strategy that is not the dominant strategy is the dominated strategy. So you might have more than one dominated strategies, right? So the strategies are not always two, they might be more than two. In fact, there's a question like that that we might treat, you know, in this particular series. So Dulce is not hot, is not going to choose anything. So whatever Ashake is going to do is not going to be dependent on what Dulce is doing. So Dulce will definitely burn. That's his dominant strategy. So if Dulce burns, right, between 41 and 35, what would Ashake pick? Ashake would decide to hold. So Ashake will hold. Shake will hold. So if he holds, it definitely means that the equilibrium is at this position. So if Dose has decided to burn, between 35 and 41, what should Ashake do? Ashake will hold. 35 is lower than 41. So hauling for Ashake and burning for Dose is the Nash equilibrium. Again, if you don't get it, if Dose chooses to burn, so we know Dose will definitely burn, right? So what would Ashake do? It's going to pick 35 over 41. So that is the Nash equilibrium. The Nash equilibrium is for Ashake to haul and for Dunsin to burn, right? So if you were to follow the steps that we followed the other time in the other class, so what should we do? If Ashake chooses to burn, if he chooses between 41 and 16, so what should Dunsin choose? Dunsin will pick 31. Do you understand? Let me erase this. Now, if Ashake chooses to haul, then he has chosen between 35 and 20. So 16 and 20 is what is available for Dunsin. So he's going to choose 16. 16 is lesser than 20. So if Dunsin chooses to burn, right? So Ashake has between 41 and 35 to choose from. He chooses 35. If Dunsin chooses to haul, Ashake has between 16 and 20 to choose from. He chooses 16. Right. So where do you have the double ticks? Still here, which was what I explained the other time. Alright. So the Nash equilibrium is at the place where Ashake is to haul and Dunsin is to burn. Yeah. So that's Nash equilibrium. Now, is this solution Pareto efficient? So what we have to consider here is, are there, apart from this Nash equilibrium, if we try to rearrange, if we try to reorder the combinations of payoffs, right? Is there another reallocation that is better for the two players at the same time other than this? Now the thing is, you might be tempted to pick 2020 because that was what we picked in the other class. But here you have to be careful, right? So now what are we supposed to do? Asake was paying 35 here, so let's compare it with born and born. 35 is better than 41. So now he's paying 41, he's not happy. And this guy now is paying 31. In fact, they are both worse off if they leave this position and get to this position, right? Because they'll be paying more that they were paying here. All right. So how about this particular position? Ashake was paying 35. Now he's paying 16. Is happier. Ashake was paying Dunsi was paying 16. Now he's paying 35. He's sad, so he's in pain. Right. So that is suggesting that this is probably um, a Pareto efficient solution. Right. But we still have one more thing to compare to it. So here, Ashake was paying 35. In this place, is paying 20. So now he's happy. Right. Now, but here, Dusi was paying 16. Here he's going to be paying more. So moving there from this place to this place is going to cause Dusi pain, whereas Ashake is happier. So since that is the case, right? So it is the case that if you were to leave this equilibrium position, the Nash equilibrium position, and go into other possible outcomes, what you realize is that there is no other outcome in this game where the two players are going to be better off at the same time, right? So that means this solution, this Nash equilibrium here, is Pareto efficient. So that answers it. So you have to be careful. It's not just looking for lower values where you have two lower values. No, you have to be very sure. You have two lower values here. It's looking as if you have two lower values, but 16 is actually lower than 20. So you don't pick this over this, right? So I hope you understand it. There is one more example, right? And that example, in that other example, would want you to note this in your um, maybe in your notes. I hope you're following. So in the other example, the thing is that here, instead of um, instead of Ashake valuing two fires at 40,000, so in this particular case, the two of them, right, both Ashake and so let me just change it to example three. So like I said, I hope you've noted this example to your notes. So you have example three. So here, the two of them value two fires at 40,000. So here again, but now suppose that Ashake and and Dunsin value the cost from the damage of one fire as 15,000 and that of two fires equal to 40,000. So all of that costs are the same. So in this case, what are you going to have? The only thing that changes is that for Dunsin, this will also be 41. So we want to see if we are what our dominant strategies are going to be, right? So that's the only thing that changes. This would also be 41. So for just what we did here, for one fire, the personal cost was 15. Then um, what else? But now that you have two fires, Shake is burning, Jose is burning, so it's going to be like 15 plus 25. Since here what we have is 40,000, so that means the external cost is probably 25. Personal cost is still 15. Since the question says all of that costs are the same, but the external cost, the external, the one for negative externality, the one that emanates from taking care of your health due to the smoke that is emanating from the fire activity, the burning activity that the other person is engaging in. So right, so that means the external cost. So it is indirectly telling us that the external cost has increased to 25. So 15 plus 25 gives us 40. Then 40 plus 1 labor cost now gives us 41. So since this is the case, so we like do the whole thing over again. So Joseph's dominant strategy is equal to what? Then, so for Johnson, so we are comparing 41 against 35. 35 is better than 41. But if you look at this, 16 is better than 20. So here, hauling is better than burning, but here burning is better than hauling. So neither of the two strategies is what is dominating the other one. So Dosage does not have a dominant strategy. So in this case, now if you don't understand it, just write them out like you did in the first video. If you don't understand it, so Dosing does not have Lucy equals no dominant strategy, right? So now for Ashake, does Ashake have a dominant strategy now? He's comparing burning, this is burning, against hauling. So 35 is better than 41, right? So it goes for hauling. But here, 16 is better than 20, it goes for burning. So hauling is better than burning here, but burning for Ashake now is better than hauling in this place. So you see that it does not also have a dominant strategy either. So in this case, are we going to have a Nash equilibrium? Yes, we are going to have a Nash equilibrium. And in fact, we are going to be having more than one Nash equilibrium. So when the players don't have a dominant strategy, we are going to be having more than one Nash equilibrium. So how do we go about that? If Ashake chooses to burn, so this guy chooses 35. 35 is better than 41. If Ashake chooses to haul, 35 and 20 is gone. So between 20 and 16, this guy chooses 16, right? Now, if this guy chooses to burn, Ashake is going to choose 35. And if this guy chooses to haul, Ashake is going to choose this here. So you can see that you have two Nash equilibria. You have two Nash equilibria. So I want you to note something as a summary. When the players have, when each of the players has a dominant strategy, we are going to be having a Nash equilibrium. When one of the players has a dominant strategy, you are still going to have a Nash equilibrium. But when none of the players have a dominant strategy, you are going to be having a Nash equilibrium. Okay, so just note that, right? So if you look at this game, the Nash equilibrium is occurring at a position where one of them has to haul and the other person has to burn. So here it is either Ashake hauls and Dusi burns, or Ashake burns, right? This is burning. Ashake burns and Dusi hauls. So it's just saying that it's just basically saying that one person should haul, and if one person has chosen to haul, the other person cannot choose to haul again. So the other person has to burn. Right. So when you have a game like this, where you have more than one Nash equilibrium, right, and the solution is for one of the players to take one of the strategies and for the other player to take the other strategy, we call the game a coordination game. So this game, this kind of game is called coordination game. So the normal spelling for of coordination, so it's called a coordination game. So a coordination game is a game that has more than one Nash equilibrium, right? And the solution is for either of the players to choose one strategy while the other player chooses the other strategy, right? So that's about coordination game. So with this, we've come to the end uh, of our class here, right? So in the next classes, we'll be talking about maximin strategy. Okay, so you might have a maximin strategy, and then we are also going to be talking about the extensive form games, right? But you have an assignment now, so I'm going to write your assignment on the board. I think two assignments actually. All right, so here you have the assignment. Number one, success and blessing have to decide how much to invest in a financial venture. The payout matrix is given below. Oh, what? I didn't even write the payout matrix. A. Find the dominant strategies and the Nash equilibrium. B. Is the Nash equilibrium Pareto efficient? And C. Is this an example of a prisoner dilemma? Explain. No, what I'm going to write the payout matrix here. And number two, fresh fizz and Mountain Dew, self-flavored fizzy water. So each is considering what actions to take in the following months. And the payout matrix is below. So here you have Mountain View. Why do I keep making mistakes? So Mountain Dew, advertise, don't advertise, then fresh fees. It can charge high price or low price. So there you have their pay-ups. Now A, what decision will each company make? That's question A. What decision will each company make? Then question B, what will be the eventual outcome? What will be the eventual outcome? And C says, if the companies form a cartel, what will be the industry profit, assuming it is a duopoly? So assuming this industry is a duopoly, so what is going to be the industry profit if the companies form a cartel? So here is the payoff matrix I forgot to write for success and blessing. So here you have them. All right, that's the end of this particular class. Like I said, in the next video, we'll be talking about the maximum strategy. So, what does it mean? How do you get an equilibrium from a maximum strategy? game, chronological strategy game, and so after that, so we'll be talking about you know um, what's the name of this game again? Backward induction, and extensive form games. So I think we should have maybe one or two more classes to go. Yeah, maybe one or two more classes to go. So thank you very much. See you in the next video.